Good morning and welcome to Planted in the Word, week 40. And this week you're going to begin the New Testament. And of course, the way that our chronological reading is grouped, we try to group like passages together. So what that means is you're going to read two genealogies this week, both being the genealogies of Jesus. You're going to read one in Matthew 1, and you're going to read another one in Luke 3. And if you really watch, if you have eagle eyes while you're reading and you're paying attention, you're going to notice actually that those genealogies are a little bit different from each other. So I'm going to give you what most academics think is going on here, though you're going to find lots of people that agree and disagree. They sit on both sides of the aisle, both with some very good points. So I would encourage you to do some additional study on your own. But I'm going to give you where I sort of land on this, knowing full well I have the right to be wrong. But I feel that this is worth pointing out and something that you're going to take away because, of course, like all things in the New Testament, they are tied to things in the Old Testament. So let's talk about first the genealogy of Matthew. The genealogy that starts in Matthew starts at Abraham and goes all the way through to Jesus. But one of the places where it's going to differ from the Luke 3 genealogy is where it talks about Jeconiah. Now, he would be Jeconiah in Hebrew. And I'm going to talk about the verses. Let me read to you the verses that talk about him, specifically where he lands in Matthew 1. So here's what it says in Matthew 1. Josiah became father of Jeconiah and his brothers at the time of the deportation to Babylon. So not only do we have the person that is specified in the genealogy, but we even have a little piece of added information about him. The interesting thing is that he also appears in Jeremiah 22. Not quite as lovely. Let me read to you what it says about this same human in Jeremiah 22. And it's Jeremiah 22:24, and I'm going to read also verse 30. It tells us, 24, as I live, declares Yahweh, even though Coniah, which is our same Jeconiah or Jeconiah, the son of Jehoiakim, king of Judah, wore a signet ring on my right hand, yet I would pull you off. I'm going to skip down to verse 30, where it goes again. Thus says Yahweh, write this man down childless. Now, it doesn't mean he didn't have children, but it meant from what you'll see following that he wasn't going to continue to be fruitful. Write this man down childless, a man who will not prosper in his days, for no man of his descendant will prosper, sitting on the throne of David or ruling again in Judah. And yet here he appears in the lineage of Jesus, but yet saying no man from this line is going to sit on the throne. Well, that's interesting. So the lineage that comes to us in Matthew is the lineage through David's son Solomon. And that has been thought by academics to be the lineage of Joseph. Joseph of the tribe of Judah, yet who had no DNA in Jesus. So that takes us to, well, what's up with the lineage in Luke 3? Well, that lineage states something just a little bit differently. That lineage starts with David and mentions him, but it doesn't go through Solomon. It goes through Nathan. And what that makes academics think is that this is the lineage of Mary. Yes, it mentions Joseph, but it's their thought that what this actually is the lineage of Mary, who does give DNA to Jesus. And she comes as a descendant of David, but not through Solomon, whose line is ended and cannot have a king that sits on the throne. But the promise to David was he would have an heir that sits on the throne. So this comes through his son Nathan, most likely named for David's best friend, who was Nathan. So that's why your two genealogies are a little bit different. We think that one's Joseph and one is Mary. Feel free to do some research on that for your own. Good job on making it to week 40 in the New Testament. I hope you enjoy your reading. Have a good one. Bye-bye.